I think everyone reboils their kettle, whether they like to admit it or not.
I've got nothing to comment on that. Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite weekly WeeKett Show. With the holiday season upon us, we thought it's a perfect time to sit down and talk about one of our favorite companions during this festive time, which is your favorite smart kettle
The
from
kettle.
WeeKett.
But it's the dot that makes it stand out. It's a very good looking base. A metallic finish with large ridged buttons across the front and a retractable power cable from the rear. On the front, from left to right, are the power on and off, 4 further temperature settings, 70, 80, 90 and 100 Celsius. Then on the end is the warming function. Each button is surrounded by a bright blue LED and the top is slightly serrated to give it a nice feel. They really do feel premium and they have a satisfying click along with a loud beep that confirms your selection. Above the buttons is a bright blue strip which just confirms that the kettle is on. If you aren't using the app, of which I'll talk about later, then it's just a case of selecting your preferred temperature, then hitting go. That's it, done. So as a test, I thought you'd find it useful if I boiled 500 millilitres of water.
I must admit, I know they're intending to make an Americano, but you're supposed to put the water in first and then put the coffee in so that the boiling water wouldn't burn the coffee. It really triggered the coffee snob inside me when I see people doing that. How do you make Americano? First put in the coffee, then add boiling water. I'm like, no, you're going to ruin the coffee. But not just me. Still, it's a nice video just on the side. I had to let it out.
No, but I think that makes sense because usually Americano is like iced coffee. And you obviously can't put it in first, especially if you have those plastic cups, because it will melt. So you always put the water first, the ice, and then you put the coffee.
Yeah,
The
coffee
shot.
last.
Yeah. So that same...
But don't take it personally, people. It's just me. I had to let it out. Otherwise, I will it doesn't feel good.
Water to 100 degrees C and timed it. This way you can see if it boils faster or slower than your current kettle. This is really just for a bit of fun and for a bit of info. So 500 millilitres of room temperature water goes in. I started from cold and the last boil was about an hour ago and timed it and it took 1 minute 48 to boil.
Okay.
Other than just boiling the kettle, it has a few more useful functions as well. Firstly, there's a keep warm function, which does exactly what you'd expect. It heats up and keeps the water warm, but only for an hour. There's also a...
Only for an hour. It's not enough.
Is that an only kind of thing, or? I mean, if you think about it though, if you want to extend it a bit, you can put a keep warm on. No, actually.
I mean, why would you need for more than an hour? Please let us know. Why would you need the water to keep warm for more than an hour?
Yeah. Like if you're gonna take more than an hour, you might as well just reboil it like after 2 hours or 3, like when you actually need it, right?
Yeah. I'm sure someone would say, you're not supposed to reboil the kettle. But yeah, I got your point.
I think everyone reboils their kettle, whether they like to admit it or not.
I've got nothing to comment on that. But comment if you think Laura has a point. Yeah.
very good baby bottle function, which is accessed using the app or by a combination of buttons on the dock. It boils the water to 100 C, then naturally lets it cool to 70 degrees C for your use. And in the manual, it's stated that this is in accordance with NHS guidelines. Very good. Also, there's an alert on the boil dry function, which, if you turn the kettle on and there's no water in it, it alerts you and it switches itself off. So that's all the hardware done, but what about the software? And this is where the smart part of the Smart Kettle comes in. You can connect it to an app and control it from there. So the app they use is the Smart Life app. It's a third-party app and it works very well. All you do is add a device in the settings and name it. Here I've just simply called mine Kettle. Then within the settings for the kettle, you can see the current state. Here it's in standby. The current water temperature, the on-off button, then below that, settings to change the water temperature. Now it's here where you can go down to as low as 40 degrees Celsius. Then there's the keep warm function, the baby bottle, and then finally the timers. Timers here where you can set it to turn on and off at a temperature or for a baby bottle. For new parents who have this set up, I can see this being a huge benefit, not having to wait for a kettle to boil and cool at 2 AM to stew in the kitchen. I know I would have loved this had I had this back in the day. So in other settings, you can connect the kettle to Alexa or the Google Assistant. Then it's just a case of them asking it to turn the kettle on, and away it goes. As I alluded to earlier, the kettle can't tell you how much water you have in it. I completely get that you may think that renders the smart functions pointless, but after using the kettle for a few weeks, it isn't actually as big a deal as you think it is.
That's it. Bye.